This is about a Super Bowl. Like, this is about the Rams being honest about what's going on in the NFL right now. And if you don't have a killer at quarterback, it's really, really, really difficult to go win one. And they said, do we think Jared Goff is good? Yes. Do we think that we can make an upgrade? Yeah. And again, we killed Green Bay last year and their general manager because they're one game from the Super Bowl. Why would you not take your chance now? Don't think about the future. You got a win now team. And the Rams are doing that. The Rams are going, we have a window right now that we have to go win our Super Bowl, and this is the move.
I'm with that. But the point is, you shouldn't have been giving the other guy you couldn't win with $140 million 18 months ago if all of a sudden he's not good enough to win with. RC, go ahead, finish it up.
Listen, you got the number 1 and number 2 overall picks in Jared Goff and Carson Wentz. We had 2 organizations that made different decisions. The Philadelphia Eagles said, you know what, we're going to pick the quarterback. We're going to stick with that guy, and got rid of their coach. The Los Angeles Rams said that they're going with their coach. And so you bring in Matt Stafford. You feel like it's an upgrade. And like Dan said, you want to go from good to great. Well, they were really good. They were Super Bowl good. And if Matt Stafford is anything less than that in the next 2 years, that's an issue. That's a problem. And as much as I love Sean McVay, that comes back to him. So this has to work, and it has to work right now. And like I said, you just don't run it back all the time. It's going to be an uphill climb for this team to get to the heights or higher than Jared Goff had them.
All right, I agree. So let's keep that moving in that direction here. Let's talk about Goff and the Goff side of this, if we will. Again, 2 years ago, he's in the Super Bowl, but since losing that game, he's been a mixed bag. 18 wins, it's tied for 7th most in the league, 6th most passing yards, but you see some of the other numbers, passing touchdowns, total QBR ranking in the bottom half of the league. So Dan, let me come back to you again as one who analyzes quarterbacks here as well as anybody. He's in a system that everybody wants to play in. He's got a coach that everyone thinks is a genius. Why has it fallen off for Goff in LA, and what can he be now that he gets a fresh start in Detroit?
Yeah, why did it fall off? First of all, at 17 to 18, he led the number 1 offense in the NFL. And it was really, their scheme was great. It was the outside zone run, and then they get those play action bootlegs off of it. It created just these huge chunk passes. So the touchdowns were high, the interceptions were low. And then the scheme changed a little bit over the last 2 years. Less of that outside zone and bootleg play action. So those chunk throws weren't there. The truth be told is the touchdowns went down and the interceptions went up. Now, last year, their offensive line play in 2019 wasn't great either. So you had the highs and then some of the mediocrity over the past 2 years. And I think that rubbed Sean McVay the wrong way, just the interceptions and the turnovers on the field, especially with an offense that's quarterback friendly. I'd say 2 things about Jared Goff right now as he transitions from the Rams to the Detroit Lions. First of all, it's a great opportunity for him to create his own identity. Everybody that pays attention to the NFL, they equate Sean McVay and Jared Goff, or Jared Goff with Sean McVay. Well, now he's going to be away from Sean. So it's an opportunity for him to prove that he creates his own identity away from Sean. And the second thing is this. The new general manager for the Detroit Lions is from the Los Angeles Rams. So for everybody that's sitting there telling me that how much Jared Goff stinks and how much he got overpaid, the guy, his first move at his new organization, and his first move ever as a general manager, is to go acquire the player that he knows just about as much as anybody, or better than anybody, and his overpaid contract. So Jared Goff's a good player. What's the number 1 trait for a quarterback physically? Can you put the ball where you want to put it? He's got that trait. Jared Goff is a good player. It's an opportunity to create his own identity, and the guy that drafted him knows him as good as anybody, or the guy that traded for him knows him as good as anybody in the NFL.
So, RC, I guess the question is, did this feel in Los Angeles like they wanted an upgrade or like they wanted to get rid of the guy that they had and they paid so much money to? Which of those did it feel like to you, Ryan Clark?
Man, this was buyer's remorse. This was like, hey, y'all, I will do whatever I possibly can for you to take this dude. It's almost like, listen, the only person we know will take him is our homeboy who just left. Let's call him and see if he'll do us a solid, and he can have these other 2 first-round picks along with him. But I don't disagree with what Dan is saying. Jared Goff is a good football player, and you heard Dan talk a little bit about his own identity. But think about Jared Goff and his success. I never remember coming on this show or being on any other show as we spoke about Jared Goff, as we spoke about the Rams and said he was the reason. If it was offense, it was Todd Gurley. Todd Gurley was a touchdown machine. Todd Gurley was an offensive player of the year. And then it was Aaron Donald on the other side of the ball. But any success other than that was acquitted or given to Sean McVay. And so now we have to see, okay, Sean, when you get Matthew Stafford, does this change what you do? And as Jared Goff leaves, does this mean the end of his career? And we'll get to see those things play out in 2021.
And so quickly, Mike Tannenbaum, again, just to finish it up here. From a Lions standpoint, do you like the haul that they get in this trade for Stafford?
Absolutely. And for the Rams, there's a cautionary tale. Bill O'Brien 2 years ago gave away 2 first-round picks for Laramie Tunsil, and I'm sure they were saying, like, oh, those would be low first-round picks. Detroit got possibly a good young quarterback, and you never know if the Rams have an injuries, those could be high first-round picks. So I think this is a great job by the Lions.
Thank you for watching ESPN on YouTube. For live streaming sports and premium content, subscribe to ESPN+.